think it's all good there, and we'll just go for it. Hello and welcome to The Agenda with myself, Sean Bradbury, and to my left, it's Paul Gorst. It's the main man. Gorst, how are you getting on?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, Sean. Yeah, how are you?
Very well, very well. The Reds are obviously 8 points clear at the top of the league, which is boosting my mood no end. But to bring it down a little bit, we're going to just talk about some devastating injuries that are, hopefully not set to unravel this entire season. No, I'm joking, of course, but we're going to look at Salah and Robertson's ankle knocks and what that could mean for the Reds, what the situation is with regards to the next game of Palace, and just assess the severity of them and take a look at the situation. But so far this season, Gorsty, in terms of injuries, we've not done too badly, have we? We obviously had the situation with Alisson, but Adrian stepped up and delivered a great spell for the Reds and essentially solved that one. Alisson's back, he looks sharp. He's been very good in the games he's been back for so far. Okay, you've got the Matip situation as well, but Lovren's doing all right pretty much in his absence. So how do you think it's been so far? Not too significant for the Reds on the injury front?
No, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because before the season, a lot of people wanted more transfers, more incomings, as they invariably do, and a lot of it was based around this strange idea that Liverpool were going to be set by injuries from day one, and Salah was going to get injured, and Mane was going to get injured, and so was Van Dijk, by virtue of them not being injured last season, which doesn't really line up, does it? I mean, no. It does not. That's not how it works. And then when Alisson pulled up inside the first half against Norwich on the 8th of August, some people were possibly saying, told you so. And it hasn't really, I mean, other than Alisson was out for over 2 months. Liverpool haven't really had too much in the way of injuries since then, have they? Joel Matip now, he's going to be out for the next, we don't know. There's no time frame on his injury at the moment, and I'm sure Jurgen Klopp will give an update in his press conference next Friday, but at the moment, it looks like he's going to be out for Crystal Palace. But other than that, Liverpool are not doing too bad on the injury front. It's looking like Salah and Robertson are going to be, touch and go, and at the moment they're both rated as doubtful. We had the story on our website yesterday. Robertson has withdrawn from the Scotland squad that's flying to Cyprus for Saturday. So no flying for him is probably going to be a good thing for his swollen ankle. So yeah, I mean, he's going to be staying with Scotland for the next few days and then coming back to Merseyside and seeing how it goes. Salah, he was another one who basically didn't want to miss out, and he was desperate to go with the national team. But then they released those pictures of him in the cast, didn't they, yesterday? He actually walked out of Anfield on Sunday after the game against Manchester City and wasn't limping, wasn't showing no signs of injury. So it's quite interesting he's been put in that cast. I mean, I'm pretty certain it would be just precautionary at this stage, but we were told yesterday that both players are doubtful. But generally, Liverpool have been okay on the injury front. I think if they do miss Palace, I don't think it's going to be one that'll keep them out any longer than the Palace game. But maybe Salah he just can't seem to shake off this ankle problem, can he, that he picked up against Leicester from that shocking challenge from Hamza Chowdhury back in the first week of October. He missed Manchester United because of it, and he got brought off against Tottenham, I think, due to the same issue. But generally, Liverpool are doing okay on the injury front.
Well, those two we mentioned, Robertson and Salah, let's take a look at them in turn. Obviously, you mentioned the update you had yesterday on the pair of them and Robertson's injury, and he's spoken today as well actually about missing Scotland's games, how it's a big disappointment for him. And he actually revealed he's kind of been managing this situation, missing parts of training. I know it's one of them, isn't it, as people who cover the Merseyside clubs and obviously fans of Liverpool, you always want to see players kind of give their best for the club and almost put the club ahead of the country. And it's not something, that happens all the time, but I'm not saying that's exactly what Robertson's done in this case, but he kind of almost said, it's not very often I act selfishly, which I think is a bit of he's over-egging it slightly there. It's not a selfish thing to protect yourself from injury, but is it refreshing? Is it, think it's the right call that he's decided to withdraw and protect himself?
I think so. He's obviously the captain of Scotland, and he's their best player by some distance, and he'd be so disappointed to miss out on the games because he's a proud Scotland international, he's Scotland captain. But I suppose he probably is doing the right thing if this ankle injury has stopped him from training, and it's been carefully managed over the last few weeks. And he missed the Arsenal game, didn't he, in the Carabao Cup, and he missed the Ghent game in the Champions League. because of this injury, which I think was a surprise to a lot of people when he came out with those comments. Certainly through his performances, you'd never know that he was carrying a knock. So, I suppose he's probably looked at it and thought, this is possibly the chance where I can literally put his foot up for the next week, rest up, get that ankle back to full fitness, and the games he's missed for Scotland, you'd possibly expect them to beat Cyprus and Kazakhstan, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Certainly the Kazakhs. So he's probably picked his moment, and it's the right one to rest up. And hopefully he will be well enough to play against Palace on November the 23rd.
I think that perception you were talking about at the beginning of this pod, the injury thing and fans having a little bit of concern. I wonder whether it stems from the fact that, the front three in particular, I mean, when we want to Salah now, and they almost seem kind of indestructible. And I think I've at times thought myself, have we been a little bit lucky? Are we kind of due an injury to one of those front three? But you look at Salah, 36 games in his first season. He played all 38 in the league last season, 11 so far, only missing the one you mentioned at United. Yeah. It's like he's got that kind of Suarez-esque capacity to just pick himself up and dust himself off, doesn't want to miss a game whatsoever. But looking at his situation, we'll do them both in turn. If the worst comes to the worst for the Palace game and they're missing, how would you think Salah would be replaced? Is it, a case of switching Mane to the right, get Origi in there? Might we see Shaqiri back for that one?
Not sure about Shaqiri, actually. That's an interesting one. He's almost become the forgotten man, hasn't he? Seeing him at Anfield for the open training against, not Genk, Red Bull Salzburg. He was there, but he didn't train. He left early. And that's pretty much the last time he's been seen or cited in a Liverpool capacity. It's a really interesting one with him. Jurgen Klopp will obviously offer an update on him, but he had a calf injury, didn't he? Which they were taking the same time frame as Alisson, who had a similar type of injury that kept him out for over 2 months. So we'll see where we are with Jadon Shaqiri. I'd expect if Salah does miss out, there's a few options, isn't there? I mean, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain could come into that front line. He's been in great goal-scoring form over the last few games, hasn't he? But I'd expect Divock Origi to take a place somewhere along that front three, maybe, as you say, on the left, and Mane would be brought back onto the right. And
then Robertson, again, if the worst came to the worst and he has to miss this one. I think this is where it could get a little bit interesting, because you'd say maybe Milner's the default option to fill in at left-back. But then you think back to last season and it was a mad game, that one against Palace, because I think Milner actually, he got a little bit of a chasing at times from Zaha, and did he get sent off? It was
at the very end, John Moss.
But then he also, I think he put a good cross in, he got an assist. It was a kind of a battle where he did not quite gave as good as he got, but he got down the other end. He wasn't just pegged back defending and struggling for the entire game, but maybe he'd looked ahead and think, well, Palace could potentially seek to threaten down that side and put Zaha on Milner again and try and prey on what happened last season. Is there a case then maybe for a man we haven't seen at left back for a while, but Joe Gomez out there?
Maybe. Milner was playing right back on that day at Anfield, and Crystal Palace are probably better suited to playing away from home with the pace on the counter-attack, particularly Zaha. And if you're playing in an unfamiliar position, the last player you want coming at you is probably Wilfried Zaha, isn't it? Certainly in the Premier League. So it was maybe an afternoon to forget for James Milner getting sent off in the closing stages. Rafa Camacho, actually with a goal-saving tackle, wasn't it, to preserve that 4-3 win, was it? So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too disappointed to see James Milner at left back. I don't think he always gives it his all, doesn't he? Wherever he's asked to play, and I think he obviously doesn't offer the same thrust that Robertson offers on that left side. Who's, let's face it, he's one of the best left backs in Europe. Yeah. But I wouldn't be too uneasy about seeing Milner on the left side of the fence. But it could be an option for Joe Gomez, and I know that was part of the thinking for Liverpool not going after a specialist left back in the summer, was because Jurgen Klopp thought that he could have James Milner playing there and or Joe Gomez.
Well, I think we've got Jurgen boxed off there with his changes in case he needs to make them. There's certainly options to fill in both those positions, and like Gorst says, I think the Reds, you would imagine, should be okay going to that game. Even if both those players are missing and giving a good account themselves. So we shall see. Ice packs on the ankles of Robertson and Salah for the next 2 weeks, and hopefully all is well by the time that Palace game comes around. Bye for now. Thanks.